What's going on, everybody? I'm Walter Hooper, and welcome to episode 15 of Marketing Minds Meet. And we are here at the Knot in Grosse Pointe Park, Michigan, a co-working space where we have our business office located. And it's a phenomenal space. Check it out, theknot.com, or I don't know, Kevin, sorry if I'm screwing up the website. But anyways, go check out the Knot. But it is a thrill for me to have this today's guest on the program, because we have some history. We've known each other since college, and she has gone on to become a boss realtor, and she is just making moves and just killing it in the real estate game as a realtor. I want to introduce the one, the only, Ashley Trefney. What's going on?
Oh my God, what an intro. Thanks, Walter. Appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Well, you're welcome. So, first and foremost, how have you been? And why don't you tell everyone about your journey as a realtor, what inspired you to become one, and where you are currently right now.
Okay. Well, I'm good. To answer your first question, I'm doing great. It's a little hot out, but I'm doing well besides that.
It's fine. Everything's fine. We're going to be fine.
It's fine. We live in Michigan. We either have extreme hot or extreme cold. So I'd rather be hot, I guess. So yeah, I'm doing well. Excited to be here. It's my first podcast, so I'm pumped. And a little bit about my journey into real estate. So I never thought I would do real estate ever. I thought I'm just gonna work a 9 to 5 forever, and that's gonna be my life. But I really hated it. I never liked having a boss or someone telling me when I can take vacation, or I worked really hard for a year and I get a $1,000 raise. Like, not a fan of that. Not a fan of like when you sit in a cubicle. Just not a fan.
We can identify.
Yeah, I mean, you work in a collaboration space. So I don't know how many years ago, my mom and my stepdad put it in my head that I would be a great realtor. They've gone to open houses, they watch HGTV, all the good stuff, and they would come back from open houses and they're like, if this guy can do it, you could do it, which was really nice. But I was like, I'm not about to get a job where I can get sued and work really hard and not make any money off of. So I like put that on the back burner. I'm like, no, I really appreciate the compliment, but I'm all set. I'll just go to my 9 to 5. And then one day I was just really I was moving from company to company doing the same thing, thinking every company would get better, only to realize it was my job. Didn't like it, but I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't want to start over and go back to school and get more student loan debt because I already had enough of that. Which is so sad, because if you want to pursue a career, you have to be like, do I want to be in more debt, or do I want to just live this life that I have?
That's another topic for another time. We're not going to go down that road today, but we hear you.
Hear you. So I was driving home somewhere, I don't know where, and I saw Jeff Glover's billboard, the 1-800 call, and it has his face. And I was like, that's cool. Like, everyone knows who he is. They just put his face on the billboard and they know. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I do want to do something like that, like real estate. Like, I had done a ton of little side jobs where I would do I would sell and dot jewelry, or I would do something on the side where I would be my own boss. But eventually it just got too hard to do with my full-time job. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go home and talk to my mom and my stepdad. And as soon as I told them, they're like, we would be great. Like, we think you'd be great. This is so perfect for you. And then I talked to some girlfriends who are real estate agents, just to get their information, like, if I do this, how much money should I save before I make the jump? Or what is it like? Are you working 24/7? So I got a lot of their feedback, and then I just went to a informational session at Keller Williams in Plymouth. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to see what happens. If all else fails, I have 2 degrees. I can just go do something with those. So I did it, and I'm not going back to the 9 to 5 world. It's just fun to the amount of work you're putting in, you're actually getting a benefit from, as opposed to 9 to 5. You put in all this work and then they're like, here's $20 a paycheck, every single paycheck. And you're like, I worked really hard to earn way more than this, so it's paying off. Yeah.
Well, and then there's also something to be said because mentioning how, if you do the 9 to 5 thing, sure, you have steady income, but at what cost?
Right.
You're looking at a scenario where now you're able to make the calls and all the shots, but as a freshly independent realtor, yes, she went independent. That's right.
I did.
You're now realizing very quickly that it's all on you. There's nobody else to be, held accountable except for you.
Yeah.
So you get the deal done. That's on you. Congratulations. Deal falls through, and sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like,
Yeah.
shit.
Right.
Yes, I said that. So, and you're now looking at a scenario where you're able to look back and go, okay, that happened, and you just strike me as the type of person that's just you can take a step back and you can go, it's okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna see another day here.
Yeah.
And we're gonna learn from this, and continue to move forward and continue to grow and learn what not to do for next time.
Yeah, and that's the thing I like about real estate is it teaches you to be very what's the word, resilient. Like, you have to learn from your mistakes, and if you keep making that same mistake, you're gonna get 0 deals done, or you're gonna get the reputation of like, oh, that realtor does A, B, and C, and no one's gonna want to work with you. And as many realtors as there are in the state of Michigan, it's a very small world. Like, there's plenty of agents I've ran into where I've, wrote offers for them, they wrote offers for me, or there was just some, the transaction didn't go well for whatever reason, but you run into each other again. So you really have to learn from your mistakes because, no one's giving you a paycheck. I hear about some real estate teams that they get a base salary and commission. I'm like, who is that? Because that's
where you at?
Normal,
where
right?
you at?
Right. But this is a job where you have to learn from mistakes, and I think it's good. I mean, to constantly be growing, and it's never a failure because you're learning from them and you're just improving. I think I didn't answer your third question. When I joined real estate, when I started doing real estate full time, I was on a team. And then the last April 1st, I went solo. And if you would have told me, when I got my license, first of all, I'm just going to say it took me 5 times to pass my real estate test. It's a hard test. I don't have any shame in that because I want people to know, like, you can have a hard time taking a test, but you can rock it as a real estate agent. That does not dictate how you're going to do it at work. So I joined a team because I was like, okay, I have my license. Now what do I do? Like, I never even bought a house. So I was like, well, I don't even know what you do. And then, April 1st, I went on my own. So if you had told me when I got my license that I was going to be independent, well, I worked for Keller Williams, but on my own in a year and a half, I would have been like, yeah, okay. And that's one way to learn a lot. So just go on your own and jump ahead at first and go for it. So.
Well, and then, but you wouldn't change it for the world. No.
And after I got that first commission check, I was like, what have I been doing this whole time? Yeah, I was like, this is paid off with credit card, help my mom with some money. Like, it was so nice because that's like why I did this job, so I could help friends and family with whatever they needed, and also to like get to being debt free. I got student loans, and so that's a big part of the reason I did this job is because I wanted a job where I could help many people in my life. So helping people find a house, especially ones that they love, helping people sell a house and getting money, and then helping my friends and family with, bills or whatever they might need at that point. Yeah.
Look at you.
I know.
Look at that. Look at that.
I know. I'm going to New York with my mom in November, and I'm like, I'll pay for everything because I can do that now.
Yes. Yes.
It makes me, and also that's good because it makes me hustle a little bit harder because I'm like, I have till November, like the first week in November, to have money to pay for this trip. So I gotta sell some houses.
That's right. You gotta sell them houses. Gotta close them deals. When you hear that phrase "clear to close," that's gotta be just like you're on cloud 9. It is good,
but I have heard some horror stories of people who get the clear to close and then like 15 minutes before closing, somebody backs out. Like, it's nothing. I don't get too excited until everyone signs something on my paycheck. Yeah, that happened. I went to go show a house that had just been put back on the market, and the agent told me, oh, we had everything good to go, in 15 minutes before the closing, the buyer backed out. I'm like,
Oh my God.
I know. I would
Wow.
cry. I would cry. I would go just go
that's rough.
drink that night. One of the two. Maybe both. A drink and then cry. So,
Hey, listen, whatever you got to do to vent and cope.
yeah, that's right.
No judgments here. This is a judgment-free zone here at the
That's
Knot. So going into now, we're living in very weird times right now because I'm sure if you go to any gas station, you see those gas prices being hiked up. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. Can I tell you, I got gas for $5.13 today, and I was like, woo, it's so cheap.
Where at?
By my office in Chesterfield on 23 Mile Road. $5.13. I thought that was a great deal. $5.13. There's a Speedway on the corner of 23 and 94. It was $5.13.
Do it.
Yep. Sorry.
So-
Continue. I just had to share
It's okay.
that. I was so
It's okay.
excited. For $5.13 gas.
Isn't that sad when we say that?
So sad.
So right now, with what are we looking at as far as the market and the value? Is it still, because for the longest time now, it seems to be it is the seller's market, and it's tough for a buyer to get something that isn't at least maybe 10 to 20 grand over.
Yeah.
So where do you see things currently and in the foreseeable future? Is that gonna pivot or shift? Because there have been some whispers of there could be a recession coming, but don't they
Yeah.
all say that? But so what is your as a realtor and the professional in this industry?
Yeah.
Where do you see the rates and where do you see the market going even within the next 6 months?
Yeah. So, of course, this is just based off past trends and what I've seen. And, of course, I'm in no way like a market expert, but I will tell you what I think what's going to happen. So, houses are still getting a ton of showings, still getting highest and best where people have to submit their offers by a certain time because there's multiple offers. I just got an offer accepted. We still put $10,000 over asking, but they really wanted it, so they didn't care. And they're like, well, we don't care. We'll do whatever. So there's still multiple offers. I think the buyers are going to slow down. I don't think it's going to shift into a buyer's market at all. I think it's going to stay still a seller's market. There's so many buyers. It's just going to be less buyers, which means less competition. But I do think the interest rates, they're like at 5.78-ish. That's average. That was last week. I haven't looked. Maybe it was this week. Was it in the last 2 weeks? But 2 months ago it was a 5.25, and then it went to a 5.03, and now it's back up to a 5.78. So it really, I think it's just going to fluctuate every week, and that's how it is. There's a whole, if you go on the Freddie Mac website, they literally have interest rates by the week for the last 30, 40 years. So you really can, look at the trends, but it's constantly changing. And of course it depends on your debt to income ratio and your credit score and all that stuff. So I'm still telling people, don't let that scare you. Yeah, it's not 2.5% or 3% what it was last year, but it's not 20% like it was in the 80s, because that has happened before. But I don't think it's going to go down like it was last year into that area for a while. I think they're also trying to correct the market a little bit because it was so overpopulated with buyers and nobody wanted to sell. So I think that could be a reason for them hiking up rates and then bringing them down, hiking them up, bringing them down. I just tell people, hold on. In a couple of years, you can refinance for a lower rate, or if it goes up higher, then you don't refinance and you just keep your rate and you're good because it's now at a 10% and you have a 5.78. So I think it's still going to be competitive. I wasn't as busy. I haven't been as busy this year as I was last year. Again, I was on a team last year, so I was getting way more leads given to me. And now as a sole agent, I have to seek them out, or it takes a little bit longer. For the market, I don't ever want to say if there's going to be a crash. I do think it's going to be everything that's going on in this world, gas prices going up, food going up, just inflation rising. I do think it's going to be more difficult for people to also purchase a house, or rates or food's going up and you have this $1,200 a month house payment. So it might be a little bit harder for people to make that payment. So, but people adjust things, they cut things out of their life or they downgrade with things. So, I don't want to say there's going to be a collapse or anything because, banks are still, there's a lot more regulations around loans and mortgages than there were when we had the collapse. So I think it's going to slow down a little bit. A big objection I'm getting lately is I just want to wait for interest rates to go down. It's like, well, we don't have a crystal ball. You only go off the trends and what we see right now. And then in a couple of years, you can refinance. And I always say it's not 18% or 20% like it was in the 80s. We just got really lucky last year. It was like 2.5%. That was amazing.
Damn.
Missed out. So there's a lot of things that could happen, but I think they're just trying to correct itself right now and correct just the crazy house prices that happened last year. I mean, there are houses that went $75,000 over asking, and that's just in Michigan. In California, it was like $200,000 plus over asking. That's a house in Michigan. Like you just bought one house, but you technically bought like two. So Michigan's not that bad.
You heard it here first, folks. Michigan's not that bad. There, game over. So that all wonderful information. Thank you for relaying that and for sharing that because I feel like because so many people have so many questions.
Yeah.
And so to have someone like yourself that has firsthand knowledge and insight into certain resources that a lot of us don't.
Yeah.
That just helps people helps people feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And gives them a sense of relief.
Yeah. So also off that note, my biggest piece of advice, if you're thinking about buying or you're just curious or you want to sell, but you're like, I don't want to, buy a house with the interest rates, just talk to a realtor or talk to a mortgage lender. Don't go off what's in the news, of course, like reliable sources, but sometimes it's so skewed or we start searching for like a particular thing and then Google's like, oh, I'm going to show you only articles that show that. So it gets people worried. My advice is just talk to the professionals rather than going on Googling an article and reading it and getting nervous. I would just say talk to a professional, and that's what I told. I have a client right now who wanted to build a house, and we've been working together since September, just trying to find him the perfect land, the perfect lot, everything. Finally found it, and he's like, interest rates are too high, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, why don't you just talk to the lender? See where he thinks it's going to go. Maybe you'll be surprised with like your credit and your debt to income. Maybe you'll be surprised. So my advice is just to talk to the professionals rather than Googling a bunch of stuff and reading all kinds of different articles written and sources because they're not always credible, as we know. And we don't always sometimes doing too much research is not great because you're only researching things that you're like specifically looking for, not like the whole general area.
Basically, what she's saying, just say no to Google in this instance. Yeah. Sorry, Google, but yeah, we're gonna pass on you for that. Go to the professionals.
Google a realtor or Google a mortgage lender. Specifically,
there you
Google
go.
Me.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, then you can ask me.
So you became independent. You went down this path.
Yeah.
So there are many realtors out there.
Yeah.
So what is it about you, Ashley Trefney, independent realtor? Why should people choose you? And what is it about what you offer? How do you differentiate yourself from all the other realtors that are out there?
Yeah.
There's a whole pool of them. So what is it about you that sets you apart and will sway people to want to go through you to purchase their home?
Yeah. So, of course, I don't know everything that all realtors do, so I'm just going to speak on what I do. I'm huge on educating people. So whether you're a home buyer or a seller, I'm big on educating you like along the steps along the way. I do meet with buyers and sellers before, and I know a lot of agents do this, so I'm not saying that I'm the only one who does this. Some agents do, some agents don't. But I always meet with the client before, so that way I can tell them like key terms, give them kind of like a timeline of things, like the process and way in which things happen. Give them a chance to ask any questions, let them know like their costs up front, just so they feel ready. It's just better that I meet with them before, and we can go to coffee, we can go do over Zoom, meet in person, like whatever the person wants to do. And also, it makes people feel comfortable going to see a house with a stranger if you've met before.
Wonderful. Well, you heard it here first. When you are not busy, or I shouldn't say busy, when you were not being 1,000% productive and just being the boss realtor that you are, what are some of your favorite hobbies or activities that you like to do in your downtime to maybe unwind, de-stress, whatever?
Yeah.
What do you got?
I thought you were going to say when I'm not busy. I'm like, that is only when I'm sleeping because I'm busy all the time. So some of my favorite things to do when I'm not doing real estate, I recently started going to Orange Theory Fitness. So fun. And I was kind of out of the gym game for a while, and I was like, I need something that's like fun and challenging. So I've been going like 5 days a week because it's so much fun. So I do that. It's a huge de-stressor just because it's literally me competing against myself and just running or rowing or lifting weights, and I love it. So I do that. I spend a lot of time with dogs, which makes me sound really sad, but that means...
No shame in that game.
My friends are dogs. Which just means that I also dog sit in addition to doing real estate. I do it through Rover. I do it through friends and family. I've been doing Rover for 6 years? Since 5 years. 5 years. And so I have a lot of reviews on Rover, and then I post all the time all the dogs I'm watching. So I have lots of friends and family who reach out. So I dog sit a lot. I love going to concerts, especially right now in the summer, going to Pine Knob and sitting on the hill or in the pavilion and listening to music, and it's warm out and the night is coming. It's just, I love it. So that's a really fun thing. And then I also teach Zumba, which is relaxing-ish, but it's one of my favorite things to do just because you're dancing and you're not thinking about work or friends or family or money problems. You're just dancing and enjoying life and getting, especially as a teacher, you get so much energy off students, or when students come up and tell you like their weight loss story or something, it's really rewarding. So exercise, music, and dogs.
All right. Hey, that's not a bad combo. Not a bad combo at all.
I don't think so either.
Who are some of your favorite bands, just off the top of your head?
Oh man. Okay, my favorite artist ever is Jack White.
Gotta give Jack the
favorite.
love. He is a Detroit native.
Yes, I have seen him so many times in concert. My first concert was the White Stripes when I was 14. I've seen him a lot. I was actually at the concert where he got married.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, oh my god, I'm at a celebrity's wedding. So cool. I was like, this is awesome. This is so great. So I love Jack White. Just speaking because I was just at their show, Dave Matthews Band. So good. I love Lord Huron, Head and the Heart, Regina Spektor, Hanson. I love Hanson. I can't deny it. They're coming to concert. I'm gonna go see them. I've seen them once before. They're still just as good as they were when they were 10 singing bop. I love so many. I love a lot of genres. Country. I'm trying to think of my favorite artist. I mean, I love Miranda Lambert. I love Zac Brown Band. Kenny Chesney is always a good time. Yeah, I got a lot of favorites. Those are just a handful.
You just love going to concerts.
I do.
There's nothing wrong with that. We've been to a few shows.
Yeah, we saw John Mayer.
We saw John Mayer when it was really freaking hot.
Yeah, I remember it was in the pavilion, like standing. All of a sudden, I'm like, I think I might pass out. I had to sit down.
Yep.
Yeah.
But what was fun too about that show was we went with some other friends of ours. Spoiler: Ashley was in a sorority and I was in a fraternity, and that's how we crossed paths.
Yeah.
So I took one of my fraternity brothers, who was also my best friend, and we took I think two of your sisters. And what was neat about that experience was that was all your guys' first time seeing him.
Yeah.
That was, I think, my third time seeing him. So I kind of went in it. I was like, oh man, I wonder what they're gonna think. But right after he launched into his first song, I could see like I looked
It's
around
so
and
good.
everyone was just like, whoa.
Yeah, and he was like wearing a wife beater and like jean shorts and had like a headband, and it was like he
was athleisure before
Yeah.
before it was cool.
exactly. It was like he like woke up and he was like, maybe I'll go play a show tonight, and just like went on stage and just killed it for like hours. You're just like effortless, so good.
Listen, when you have that kind of talent and you have that kind, you just.
Oh.
It was my ring.
ASMR.
It was my ring. Yeah, ASMR. No, that'll wake you right up. No, you just
Flawless.
DGAF. Yeah. So
Yeah.
So, last question I have for you, for everyone that is tuning in or will be tuning in to check out. So you had, so for those that don't know, she actually is a independent realtor. And so she's been in the game for
a year and a half.
Yeah.
If you count when I got my license, like a year and 8 months. And I add that because people are very big on how long you've been a realtor for when they use you.
That's right.
Which is annoying.
That's right. Last question though that I do have for you is what ultimately is your biggest motivation to not only to do what you do, and then also for those that are looking to go independent in real estate and being a realtor, what would be some words of wisdom or some insight to offer to those individuals that are maybe on the fence and maybe are a little afraid to take that leap into independent realty, into the independent realtor game? So I guess it's a two-part question, really.
Okay, so a big motivator for me is I have a lot of goals, like financially and personally, that just like a 9-to-5 was not going to get me, at least in my field. If you're in technology, you're probably doing great. But in my field, I have a lot of student loans, so I'm trying to get out of those. But I'm 40, which means I have like 6 years and 1 month. Just scary to think. I just want. I had a great childhood growing up. I hope when I have children that I can provide that life for them too. But of course, as I got older, you learn about things that your parents hide or they sacrifice so that their children can have a good life. And I don't ever want to, have a family and worry about things. I want everyone to live comfortably, and I also want to be able to help. I mentioned this a little bit earlier before Facebook Live, but I want to be able to help my friends and family with things. Like I think every kid's dream as they get older is like help their parents pay off their mortgage. Like, how cool is that? You did that for your parents because they've done all this stuff for you, raising you into a good person. And yeah, I just have a lot of I want to travel a lot of places. I just have a lot of goals. I want to have a cottage, and I want to have an Airbnb business, and I want to get season tickets to Broadway in Detroit every single year so I can go see all the shows. I just have a lot of things I want to accomplish. So, just taking that extra step where now, when I get, as you're a solo agent, you get more commission because you're not splitting with anyone because you're paying for everything on your own. When you're on a team, your team leader pays for leads and pays for photography and all that stuff. So you have to give part of that back because they're paying for everything up front. So when I went solo, my first paycheck, I was like, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I was excited for. And that allowed me to help with some things with my family, and it was a great feeling. So for someone who's on a team or someone who's just starting off wondering if they should go solo, it's different for everyone. Being on a team is, in my opinion, a great way to start real estate. I learned so much, and I learned such good skills, and we had coaches, and we had other realtors to bounce ideas off of, so it was really helpful. I was actually going to go to a different team after team I was on, and everybody was like, you should just go solo, and I was so scared. I'm like, I'm not ready for that. And then I thought, maybe I should do something that will make me uncomfortable. Maybe that's a good thing, to be uncomfortable in something. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. And if it doesn't work out, then I have this other team I can go back to, or the other team I was going to join. But if it's something that you can see yourself doing, but you're still a little scared, I just say that's a good sign, because it's showing that you want to step out of your comfort zone and that you want to make yourself better. And honestly, you're going to learn so much on your own. I learned, like I said, a ton of being on a team, but when I went on my own, there are things I hadn't done yet. I hadn't done any paperwork yet, like processing. I've written contracts and stuff, but I had never processed paperwork. I had never put something into our system with our closing documents. I had never done any of that, or figured out a photographer to use. Like, I don't know. So like, you really learn a lot, but it was scary. But I was like, this is something I need, something to push you out of your comfort zone. Because if you're just going from being comfortable to being comfortable to being comfortable, like, you're really learning and growing. So I say, just make a list of pros and cons. Really, you just have to make yourself happy. So if you have everyone telling you to join a team or go solo, like, do what's best for you at that moment. And then it's not like it's permanent. Everything's temporary. So you can join the team, and if it doesn't work out, you can go back, or you can be solo. If you go solo and it doesn't work out, you can go back, be on a team. I just think it's good to be pushed out of your comfort zone. So that's my advice.
Well done. Well done.
Thanks. Hope I didn't ramble too much. I feel like I do a lot sometimes.
It's fine. You're good. That's why we're here. That's why you have a mic in front of you. That's the whole point.
It's dangerous. Give me a mic. I'll just talk and talk and talk.
Well, before we log off here, how can people contact you if they're looking to purchase their home, or if they have questions? Do you have social media, website, work number? I want to hear all of the things that people can do to find you and reach out to you.
So I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I have TikTok, but I mostly just post dog videos of dogs that I dog sit. I do some real estate on there. But you can, I have just my cell phone, so I'll give you that number. Is 586-215-1211. You can email me at atrefney@kw.com. You can go on my Facebook, Ashley Trefney. You can send me a message on Facebook. You can reach out to Walter and then ask for me. But those are I would say phone and Facebook is probably the best. Instagram, I mean, you can, but those are the two big ones.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thanks.
I like it a lot. Well, I just want to say it has been a pleasure, and it's been a thrill. It's nice chatting with you and really learning more about not only what you do, but seeing and hearing just how much you have grown as a realtor, as a professional.
Thanks.
And hearing your insight and your knowledge in that field that is very refreshing. So,
thanks.
So I know to definitely keep you at the top of the stack when I hear people wanting to buy a home and purchase a home.
I appreciate that. I will, even if you just have someone who's thinking about it, just a thought in their mind, I will never pressure anyone to do something they don't want to do. So if they're not ready to buy, we can just have a chat about home buying, the process. I've had people who are interested, but they don't have enough money saved up yet. So I'm never going to push anyone to do something they don't want to do, because it's not my money. So, feel free to reach out to me or to Walter if you have any questions.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here, Ashley. It really was a thrill and a pleasure.
Aw, thanks for having me.
This has been episode 15 of Marketing Minds Meet. So I am Walter Hooper. You can't see me, but you can hear me. Thank you, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Thanks, Walter.